Hello my beautiful fragrance family, Dustin here, fragrance fan. Go ahead and do me a solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification, and I'm just going to keep on bringing you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews, that $40-ish and under dollar range. Most of these way less than that. A good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. It was almost hard to keep a straight face right there because I just hooked my thumbnail on my shirt and it tried to rip off. That hurt. So I got two fragrances for you guys here today that are coming from the same house ultimately, Broca, which is a sister company of Afnan and Afnan Turathi Blue and Broca's Théorème, like Pythagorean theorem. They are cloning the same thing. They are both going after Bulgari Tigar, and by sister company I mean, like, you know how Maison Alhambra is Latafa, you know, Cadillac, GMC, Chevy, they're all GM, right? These are the two that are battling it out, Broca, Théorème, and Afnan Turathi Blue. Which one comes out on top? So for no particular reason other than the fact that I have had this one first, let's go over the scent profile of Afnan Turathi Blue. It is no surprise to my subscribers that watch this channel, or those of you who aren't subscribed that watch this channel on a fairly regular basis, you know my love affair with this fragrance. Look at the dent in this bottle, and when you have this many fragrances, this is just a portion of what I have, and you use that much of a 90 milliliter bottle to where you need another fragrance that smells almost identical to this or this exact fragrance again, then that should say something about either this particular fragrance or the scent DNA in and of itself. Now with the presentation, this thing is super small on the bottom with a crazy heavy solid steel atomizer cap, so it is so prone to falling over. It's just begging to get knocked over. So don't put this somewhere where you can bump into it easily. Kind of tuck this thing back or like against something, because I'm telling you, it just wants to topple over like nobody's business. The atomizer on this thing is decent. I don't want to waste a spray because, as you see, there's not all that much juice. It's on the smaller side of this thing. But the atomizer is decent. It's a decent spraying atomizer. And the cap here, you have to like line it up perfectly. It has to match that indentation. I kind of don't like when they do that kind of thing. So about the scent profile on this thing, it is a citrus heavy, grapefruit dominant, spicy, woody, amber combination. The grapefruit spice combination is what is gonna blast your nostrils at first. Not in a bad way. It's captivating, it's alluring, and it's different. It kind of sparks your mind and you almost, ooh, what was that? And then almost directly following that, you get that amber musk combination held together by the woods. It's like a dark, rich kind of woods throughout the life of this fragrance. The performance on this is about 7 hours. The projection on this is decent. It's maybe slightly above average. So overall, we're doing really good. As far as versatility, this is one of my most versatile fragrances that I have. In Florida, it might dip down to 25 degrees where I am a couple days out of the year. The heat index in the summer is going to be anywhere from 111 to 115 degrees with that high humidity. The actual temperature is like 95, 96, 97 on the hottest days, but it's super humid. This still works in those. It's not a gym fragrance because it's a bit loud for that, but it still works for that. This also will work just as good going to like the Dollar General, to Walmart, as it will being a boss at a business meeting, presenting a product or something like that. This will work for that too. It's classy enough that it'll do that. It's good enough for like a church. It's good enough for any kind of suit and tie, and it's good enough to wear a sleeveless casual shirt and do whatever. That is one of the reasons why I absolutely love this fragrance. I gave it, I think, an 8.5 last time I rated it, and that thing has jumped up easily to a 9. If it had a longer performance, I would say this is a 9.5. If it was a beast mode, it would be a 10. But it's not. So it's a 9 out of 10, which is one of my highest rated fragrances that I ever had. So again, it is a rich, grapefruit citrus dominant, spicy, amber, dark woods, musk, sparkly, fizzy kind of a fragrance, which is super versatile, long lasting, compliment machine. Now, its counterpart, partner in crime, whatever you want to say, because it's from the same company, the same house, Broca's Théorème. Do I have the same feelings about this one. The atomizer cap is this whole thing. It's lighter. It's not, I like the bottle of Afnan a little bit better as far as like the way it looks, but the practicality of this one is actually better because it stands up better. It holds easier in the hand. It squirts easier from the atomizer. And this too is a citrus, but not so much of the grapefruit dominant. That's where these things kind of differ right off the rip. When you spray it, you will be immediately reminded, if you haven't smelled Turathi, one or the other. If you sprayed one or the other, doesn't matter which one. If you smelled both of these, they will remind you of each other. But this one is less grapefruit dominant and more on the fresher, like maybe lemony side, you know, bergamot side, not so much the grapefruit spicy side, more of the bergamot lemon spicy side. Hints of amber, wood, like a clean wood, musk, fizzy, sparkly, all the stuff that's in Afnan Turathi Blue, except this is brighter, fresher, and cleaner. That's the difference. Especially right off in the opening. This is just a fresher, more breezy, cleaner, brighter, more uplifting version of that. It still gives you all the stuff that you love about Turathi as far as the spiciness. The amount of spice that's in this is almost identical to the amount of spice that's in Afnan Turathi Blue. But this one, like I said, isn't as grapefruit dominant. It's more of like a bergamot, clean lemon. I don't know if it's lemon, but bergamot for sure. It's just a fresher, cleaner citrus. Not so much of a tart citrus. Is probably an easier way to try to diagnose that part of it. The amber isn't as loud in this. Turathi Blue is a sweeter fragrance, just marginally. It's got a little bit more of that amber bubblegummy sweetness just by the smallest of margins. And the woods in this are more like a clean, dry wood, whereas Turathi Blue is more of a darker, richer, heavier wood. The musk is about the same amount of clean musk. So, in the end, the difference between the two is that one's richer, darker, heavier, and sweeter, but the performance as far as the projection, like Turathi sounds like it's going to be louder because of all that, but it's not. They project almost identical and they last almost identical. I did a side-by-side with these a couple times. In fact, I got it on my arms right now. Théorème on this arm, Turathi Blue on this arm, about the same. After about 30 minutes, that's when they become almost identical. Almost identical. Turathi still hangs on to a little bit more of the amber sweetness, just a little bit, and just a little more like almost of an earthy, darker, richer wood. The citruses almost become identical. Once they start to fade out and become into the dry down, they become almost identical. This got a 9 out of 10. So now that's making it harder to figure out which one is going to be the winner. Which one, let me put it like this. Which one am I going to wear more often? Which one is more practical for me? Generally speaking, I'm probably going to reach for this one first. Because I feel like it's slightly more versatile, especially in the opening because it's darker and richer. It's going to work better in the cooler weathers and stuff like that. Whereas this one still is going to work in some of the cooler days of spring and fall, but not quite as well because it leans way more on the ultra fresh, zesty side than Turathi Blue, whereas Turathi Blue tries to be a little bit more well-rounded. Which one am I going to recommend? If somebody asked me which one should they get if they wanted one of these scent profiles, and especially if they're a beginner, I'm going to go for this one on this fingerprint magnet. Reason being is because it's safer, it's easier, it's cleaner, it's brighter, it's not as challenging. Turathi has those darker woods, a little bit of that sweetness, the muskiness. Well, Broca's got the muskiness too, but there's just some of that dark richness in Turathi that might make it slightly more challenging. Both of these are going to be a winner. More than likely, you're going to like both of them. But just to be on the slightly safer side, I would say Broca Théorème would be the one that I would suggest for a safe blind buy over Turathi Blue. Me personally, I'm probably going to wear Turathi Blue more than Broca. Lately, I've been wearing the Broca because it's almost a full bottle and my Turathi Blue is almost empty. When and if, or even if I don't run out of one of these, I'm probably not going to rebuy either one of them. I'm going to just keep on exploring because, You know, there's some other ones. Latafa got one, and so does Mason Alhambra. So that might be another battle coming up in the future. But for now, that's both of these. They both got a 9 out of 10. Both got a 9 out of 10. So as far as performance, it's almost identical performance. Scent profile is almost exactly the same, just a little bit darker. The dry down is almost identical. They're like 90 to 95% similar. If you got one, you don't need the other. You just don't, because it's going to be redundant. One of the main reasons I got this is because this is going to need a backup. So I figured just go with another one instead of the same thing, because there's so many of them out there. And yeah, both 9 out of 10s. Again, I'm going to reach for Turathi more over Broca. Like if I had to buy one again, it would probably be Turathi. But if I'm suggesting one, it's going to be Broca. Either way, they're both awesome. 9 out of 10. Gems. Fire. Amazing. One of my highest rated fragrances that I have in my collection because I love this scent profile. And so that's the conclusion of Afnan Turathi Blue versus Broca's Théorème. With that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always. And until next time.